Hello, this is a general message for today, Monday, the 27th of January 2020, or for whenever you are seeing this message. I'm going to be pulling 3 cards from the Vintage Oracle Wisdom deck, and I'm going to clarify them with the Golden Tarot. So let's see what cards we're pulling today. For the collective for the 27th of January 2019. So I see this, I laugh because I just did video, my members group last night, and Awakening came out so many times for so many people, and that one did as well. So, it really is resonating with me and really makes a lot of sense to me as far as with the awakening that I feel the majority of us are feeling that, are recognizing that, or are beginning to understand that we are in this process of awakening. It's this time of ascension, and every single person is different. I really talked a lot about this last night, about the different parts. Like sometimes people think, oh, they'll say, oh, we've gone through ascending, or we're awakening, or we're being enlightened. Typically talking about the dark night of the soul, where you're really digging to the depths, to the core, to that darkness, to these things that are, pushed down, that are hidden, that are just, these are traumas, just sometimes can be, well, not sometimes, but they can be, traumas, conditioning, things like that. And so when we awaken, it's kind of like, we're really having to revisit these situations, experiences, feelings, whatever that is, and really seeing it in a different light so that we can bring healing into that area, and we can release and we can let that go and move on from that. I really love these cards, and if you look at them, and I'm sure you can see where they're going here. Now, with awakening, I always, and this is before I even pulled these cards today, recommend to everybody getting outside and getting into nature and just listening. Just being out there, taking in the fresh air, taking that fresh air in, getting rid of all that, I'll call it debris for the sake of a better word. Just getting all that guck out. And another thing I really recommend and love when I see the nature card come up, and I use this as an example last night, is to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on. I said it. I gave an example last night about my meditation is always outside. It's always in the morning. Well, it's all times of day and night, but in the morning is the minute I'm up, I'm outside. Like I literally throw on a robe and I go outside. I sit on the porch and I just meditate for, depending, some days an hour, some days 10 minutes. Well, it's never 10 minutes in the morning. But like I just, however long, that's what I do. That's my routine. And when I'm out there and you're just like, shutting everything down, you're, just really clearing the mind, getting balanced within yourself to get this day started, I always find things going on around me from the animals. And I really get a lot of messages and like downloads when I'm noticing animals. Like last night I used an example of these birds I seen out there one day. And typically you see the birds outside and they're tweet, 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 and they're all happy, they're all go lucky, twerping and things like that. And there was a day that I came out and I was sitting there and there were 2 birds on this wire and they were going right at each other. I mean, you could tell they were not being very friendly. They were just like, I felt like this is what I felt. I felt like they were having this deep, intense conversation, argument, conflict, something. But it just made me feel like there was a heaviness of that energy, and not just a heaviness in a, but I really felt like them birds were hashing it out, not a doubt about it. And so what I see coming in throughout that day and into the next day was all around me. There were all these people, and like it was like everywhere I turned, somebody was in an argument, somebody wasn't getting along. People were having intense, heated conversations, all of that sort of information. And so, hindsight's always 2020. Looking back on that, oh, look at this, really fantastic. 10 of Cups is the overall energy of all of this, so this is really nice. But I feel like, these, whatever this is, this information, these, things that are going on around you, these are something that are trying to enlighten you, to bring awareness. In hindsight, looking back at this, and what I really seen come out of all of that specific day, from the birds to the people that I was around, were people really clearing the air. Lots of conversations. Most of the conversations were intense conversations. You could tell there was some sort of heat or, aggression or aggravation coming within the birds communicating, the people around communicating. But it was a really big awareness of just how much and how simple downloads, messages, things like that come through. So I just want to throw that out because the nature card is out here, and I always recommend, especially when people are in that kind of energy, to get outside no matter what that is doing. If it's going for a walk, I'm a child at heart, believe it or not. I'll go outside and play with chalk. I like to do things like that. So if I do that even if I'm not stressed, but some sort of activity or something you can do outside, but it doesn't necessarily have to be an activity. This can be just you getting out into that nature that helps you clear your mind, clear your heart, clear your soul, get things moving and shifting and cleansed out, breathing in that fresh air. So your first card is awakening. Your second card here is nature. So if you're feeling the tense, the restriction, the the heaviness of a lot of energy, and I know middle of December and with the full moon in Gemini, then that full moon in Cancer, I've seen a lot of tense energy with all of that. But the awakening, this is all about ascension. This is all about stepping into your higher self. And so, the message is very clear right here with awakening, getting into nature. And then the third card, this beautiful card over there, that's a card of abundance. So whatever this shift, this turmoil, this restriction, this, challenging, I feel like this is challenging, things that you're dealing with, because, dealing with heartache, pain, suffering, things, traumas you've experienced, horrific conditioning, those sort of things. It's not that easy to look at those things and to make peace with those things. So be easy on yourself is another thing that I want to say to you. So now let's get into the tarot going across the bottom. And the first thing I'm seeing is the Emperor. And I love this because what I'm seeing with this, and not only the Emperor, but the Ten of Pentacles being the overall energy of this reading, that I feel very strongly that you may not recognize things are coming together for you. A structure is forming, that foundation is stabilizing. And I feel like this Emperor is here to represent that. And when I'm seeing the other cards around there, which we'll get into in a second, it really, really is resonating with me that, it may feel or seem very challenging. It may feel or seem like things aren't falling into place, that things are not working out. And I don't feel that's the case. I feel what the case is that you're releasing an old cycle. In this old cycle, I mean, some of this stuff can be things that you've held onto, had buried deep within you, maybe not even recognized you were holding on to until an experience pops up that rises that up to the surface. So with the Six of Coins in reverse, I really, this is a card of imbalance, things not being balanced or feeling balanced. The Star card right next to this in reverse as well. I mean, the Star card is a beautiful card. But this is a card of healing. This is a really big card of healing. So I feel like with this Star card in reverse, that you're in this process. That's what I'm feeling. And with the Five of Cups, or the Five of Swords right there as well, I feel like you're really conflicted trying to figure out, again, with the Ace of Swords right there. Here's the Three of Pentacles in reverse over here. So all of that together is really sending a really strong message to me that it's really confusing and really, hard. Like, I feel like there's some intensity with this Five of Swords, like battles, and some people are losing, some people are not. This person specifically in this Five of Swords, who has the sword and the other person is walking away. This person doesn't even look like they have they look sad. I mean, they may feel a victory in some sense, but in another sense, somebody didn't win. I feel like with all of this, I just feel like there's this conflict, internal, can be with other people on the outside, but externally, but that's going to be expected because you're shifting, you're changing, you're ascending, you're releasing, you have to let go. And some relationships don't last forever. We all know this. But I feel right now that things may feel like they're up in the air. Nothing is coming together. Nothing is working out. That, you're really having a hard time finding clarity, the truth in a situation, and healing from this. But with the Emperor here in the three vintage wisdom oracle cards in the back row, the awakening, the nature, and the abundance. Again, this is crowning it. I mean, this is the overall energy, that 10. So that would be a card of abundance. This would be a card of a cycle, a chapter, something ending on a very high positive note that does have something substantial that comes through with this. And even when I'm looking at the bottom underneath that card at the bottom of the deck, there's the Page of Swords. So it's like the offer isn't here. Oh, look at this. The offer and the opportunity isn't here, but I do feel this offer and opportunity is coming to you quick. And look at this. This is somebody healing from heartache, pain, suffering. I've seen a sword in there, and I'm seeing some swords up here. So I feel for some of you, this has definitely been like a mental abuse, a manipulation, traumas that you're healing from, or just, the thought process you have or your way of thinking, and things like that. But what I really love seeing the most out of all of this, and when I see this entire row, I feel like this is nothing but, I feel a deep sense of healing from imbalance, from, toxic thoughts, ideas, conversations, things like that. And at the end of the day, what I'm really seeing here is this all shifting, this all changing. And although you may feel like everything is falling apart with the Emperor here and that Ten of Pentacles here, I'm really feeling like things are not falling apart for you. Absolutely not. I'm feeling that these things are falling away to make this space for these things, opportunities, situations to come in for you. And in order for them to come in for you, you have to heal yourself. I know we see it all the time on social media here, where it's like, if you don't heal your wounds, you'll be bleeding on other people. And sometimes that's your self, that can be you, a battle that you're fighting, and having to recognize where, that's just not serving anymore. That's not, that you're recognizing pains and traumas from your past that have gone unhealed or have not been healed and are holding you back from moving forward and moving forward into stability, structure, prosperity. Prosperity and abundance are out here twice, 10 of Pentacles and the abundance card. So if you're really feeling this intense, like I said, this heaviness or this, I don't know what the hell's going on, or, all of this chaos, that's what I'm feeling. It just feels like total chaos. Nothing is balanced. Nothing seems clear. Everything seems like, very tense or what have you. But what I'm seeing is this is bringing your healing through this process. So what you're doing as you're healing this, part of the awakening. This is all part of ascension. This is everything that you're going to go through with that. And as you're doing that, as you're healing those wounds and those things that have been blocked or, just not brought to light, you're releasing them. And that's letting stuff go. That is opening up new opportunities, new situations, new things that are coming in for your future. And what I'm seeing, look at this, I'm shuffling this deck again in here at the bottom of the card, wisdom. Look at the owl. You've gained a lot through this process. Although I'll be the first one to be out here saying to you, I don't feel like this was an easy process, but the reward of it is bringing you something stable, secure, abundant. And whatever this is for you individually, this is something that is meant to come in here for you for the long term. We've been doing a lot of deconstructing and reconstructing with all the different planetary planets and different areas of our chart. And things like that. We've really have been doing some, things have been taken right away from us, and then we're going to, rebuild on more solid foundation. So this is where this is headed. This reading is for Monday, or for Monday the 27th of January 2020. Whenever you see this reading is meant for you. I do hope this helps you and gives you some sort of feeling like you're not alone, or understanding that you are not alone. You are definitely not alone. We're all going through this. We're all going through this in a different area of our lives. So, you can check your chart and see where these planets are, and what they're impacting. If this is something you're interested in, I do have a private members forum. You can contact me and I can send you the information on that. We go live 2 nights a week, and then we go live on a full moon and a new moon, either that day or the night before. And every time we're on there, we specifically look at what's going on in what houses for what sign. We pull readings, we do things like this, and we just are a beautiful community of support, love, and all of us owning our stuff. We all have stuff we are working on. We don't need to pretend. We can come as we are, and know that is it, that's the way it is. It is what it is. That's the way it's meant to be. So I hope this helps you. If it does, I'd really appreciate you giving me a big thumbs up, liking my channel or subscribing to my channel, and sharing with your friends and family. I thank you so much. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you in the future.